Teachers are more burnt out now than ever before. The workload feels endless. You've got lesson planning, resource creation, student behavior, reporting, communicating with parents. It essentially never ends. But things are changing. More and more teachers are using AI to turn hours of work into just minutes. Today, I'm going to show you 3 tools that will help you do the same. Quickly before we start, what is AI? AI stands for artificial intelligence, and it's essentially software that enables computers to perform tasks that would typically require human intelligence. AI models are trained on billions and billions of pieces of data that essentially allows them to identify patterns. They then use these patterns and what they've learned to generate responses. What this essentially means is you have access to a super brain. It has a wealth of knowledge that is at your disposal. For teachers, that means you have someone to essentially automate your workflows and help you with ideas. We can create lessons, assessments, worksheets, essentially anything you'd like. Today, I'm going to be showing you 3 AI tools that are commonly used amongst teachers. The first tool I'm going to show you is an AI tool that was purpose-built for educators, and it's called Tutero. Tutero focuses on 3 core workflows: lessons, worksheets, and assessments. Let's create a resource. To create a resource, you'll essentially select the skills that you would like to teach in your lesson. So I'm doing a lesson on angles. All of the skills you see appearing here are aligned to your curriculum. Tutero has both the US and Australian curriculum loaded in. Once you've chosen your skills, you can add a real-world context to your lesson, and you then click generate. So with the power of Tutero software and AI, it's created a full lesson presentation that I can then deliver to my students. Let's take a quick tour to see what's included. You'll see that there are warm-up questions that are differentiated into 3 different difficulty levels, and they can all be edited with AI. So if there's something you don't like about a question, you can select from these options and make those quick adjustments to suit your learners. We talked about theming the lesson. On this slide, you'll see the connection between my angles skills and the snowboarding concept that I chose. And for each skill that you included in your lesson, you'll have a set of explainer slides that introduce the concept. So you can see here, we've got our steps, we've got an image to support our explanation, and on some of the slides, you'll also see an interactive that helps visualize that concept even further. For every skill that you teach, you'll also receive a set of practice questions for the students, as well as teacher examples. So they're differentiated again into mild, hot, and spicy. And by clicking the plus button here, you'll have access to an entire bank that you can add to your lesson. Towards the end of the lesson, we've got a few activity slides that get students applying the knowledge that they've just learned into a practical scenario, as well as a discussion prompt here that is often open-ended and gets students talking. And if you're wanting to do a quick assessment of where they're at the end of the lesson, there's also an exit ticket that again is differentiated. Up the top here, you'll notice a few tabs. Lesson worksheet is a one-to-one copy of your lesson, so all of your content is included and can be downloaded to be shared with your students via PDF, whether that's email or printing, it's up to you. And the documentation tab at the top here will have a document that can be used for reporting purposes that just gives an overview of your lesson. So something that would typically take me hours to create, I've used AI, I've spent about 30 seconds on this, and I now have a full lesson. The power is pretty insane. I mentioned as well that Tutero can create worksheets and assessments. Here's an example of what a worksheet looks like. So we've got multiple different question types. We have visuals. We have everything we need for a fast finisher or a homework task here. And again, same creation process as before, a couple of seconds to produce something that would typically take me a long time. Everything is saved on your profile. So if you want to plan ahead, everything will be stored on your dashboard and you can access it at a later date. The reason this is so powerful, as I've already mentioned, it accelerates your workflow and it's curriculum aligned. It's built specifically for teachers, has everything you need to deliver a realistic lesson. The next tool I'm going to show you is ChatGPT, and if you've heard of AI, it's likely you've heard of ChatGPT. It is the most popular model in the world right now, and for good reason. It's super powerful. Let me show you how. So to create a resource with ChatGPT, you have to direct it a little bit more than we saw with Tutero. Tutero was quite structured and easy to set up. This requires a little bit more work. In this box here, you'll type a prompt. So you're communicating with the AI, the super brain I mentioned before, exactly what you want it to produce. We're going to now produce a lesson. You can see the AI here, then responding and producing your resource. It's doing a pretty good job of working through this quite quickly. And again, something that would take me a long time is automated just like that. The issue for teachers here is this isn't something that I can deliver immediately. It will require some repurposing and some extra work to make this into a presentation. This is typically why I recommend ChatGPT for the brainstorming process or to get inspiration on ideas you can use with your students. But again, not something I can use directly. Another quick example, I'm going to ask it to create me 5 class activities I could use for this topic. Again, we can see it quickly goes to work. So within a couple of seconds, it's writing me ideas, giving me inspiration that I could then adapt for my lesson. You can essentially type anything into this box and it will produce an output. It's great, as I mentioned, for that brainstorming phase. The next tool I'm going to show you is similar to ChatGPT, but it's a slightly different model called Claude. So we saw previously that it produced text. Well, now it can actually produce more than just that. AI can produce videos, images, interactive applets, websites. It's getting close to produce pretty much anything. And this is why I love Claude. Similarly to ChatGPT, it does have a prompt box that you have to provide an instruction to. Right now, I'm going to create an interactive game for my students. So I've given it my game prompt there, my request of what I'd like it to create, and it gets to work building that for me. And we can see here, after just a few seconds, it's created me an interactive game that I could assign to my students. So we can click on it, we can interact with it, and it gamifies my concept. This is something I literally couldn't do in a whole day if I had to. I don't have the knowledge to do this, but our AI, our super brain can. I'm now going to try and create an interactive lesson with Claude. When doing this as well, it's important to keep in mind that the more specific you make your prompt or request, the better the output will be from the AI. For the example's sake, I'm doing it quite brief. And we can see again within a couple of minutes the power of AI. I've asked it to create me something interactive that students can play around with, and it's done exactly that. It's pretty impressive. I could obviously never create this myself. So to reiterate, Claude is great for creating interactive, hands-on activities for your students. At the moment, I think ChatGPT is better for brainstorming and Claude is great for creating these interactives. AI is already changing the way that a lot of teachers work and is going to have some really positive outcomes in the future. Just remember that when you're using this, it's not built to replace you, it's here to support you. These models can't function without your teaching input and your judgment. So whether you need quick lesson ideas, you need an interactive activity, a presentation, worksheet, assessment, there's something for everyone in these 3 AI tools. Let me know in the comments which one you think will be most useful or if you have any questions. And we'll see you in the next one.